Any games in the football calendar? Celtic chair Peter Laurel recently made a vice chairman of the European Clubs Association last month. He says player welfare must be protected, suggesting the football calendar is more than maxed out.
There's been raging debate among football fans and also the football community about the increased number of games that players have to play at the moment. So this is my take on this issue. I do not like sentimental analysis. I also don't like a half-baked analysis of issues. Players always insist on increased number of games without trying to deal with the elephant in the room. So I'm going to try to talk about it with my own understanding of this situation, and then I'll let you be the judge of what you think about my analysis. We're going to start off this using the Premier League as a case study. As of 2022 and 2023 season, the top 10 revenues generated by Premier League clubs. Number one, I have Manchester City at £780 million. I have Manchester United with £688 million. I have Liverpool at £655 million. I have Chelsea at 607, Tottenham Hotspur at 523 million, Arsenal 463 million, West Ham 322 million, Aston Villa 310 million, Newcastle United 288 million, and then rounding up the top 10 with Brighton and Hove Albion at 257 million. These figures are sourced from the Deloitte Football Money League 2025 of their 2022-2023 season report. Now, bear in mind, most of the revenues for this club come from broadcasting rights, commercial partnership, and then match day income.
So that means the TV have the right to put games on when they want. The scheduling is on down to them generally. And the other organisations who are running off the back of that are also going to do the same to try and get more money into the coffers, which then goes to the clubs, which then goes to the players. We're also at a stage where...
Okay, now let's try to look at what I think is the root cause of all this increased number of games. Now, like I said, we're using the Premier League as a case study. In the Premier League, player salaries and club revenues are closely linked, with a significant portion of the club's income allocated to player wages. I need you to pay attention to the word significant portion of the club income. Okay, on an average, studies say as of 2022-2023 season, the average basic salary of a first-team Premier League player was approximately 3.6 million per year, equating to around 69,000 per week. So this is what we have. Now, top clubs like Manchester United led with an average annual player salary of 7.9 million, followed by Manchester City at 6.79 million. Now, let's look at the club generated revenue and how much of it went to the wage expenditure of players. Now, wage to revenue ratio in the 2021-2022 season, Premier League clubs collectively spent about 67% of their revenue on player wages. 67%. So meaning most of the clubs were paying above. For us to have a 67% average, it meant some clubs were paying higher than the 67. So if the total income generated and 67% of it were going to the clubs, to the player wages, then how much did the club make, and how much did they use to pay other staffs, and how much do they use in running the club? So every time players talk about increased number of games, and they forget that they are the sole beneficial of almost every money coming into football clubs. So you expect the football clubs to pay you, but in turn you do not expect them to make profit on the games which you get to play in. Okay, individual club examples. During the 2020-2021 season, Manchester United and Manchester City had a wage to revenue ratio of 65% and 62% respectively, meaning that in the 2022-2023 season, there was an increase in the amount of revenues which they got and also the amounts they paid to their players. Regardless of what players have to say, I think they are the main reason why the number of games have been increased, because the clubs also need to draw even for them to make as more money, they have to play more games and get in more revenue so they can also pay players and have some left to run the football club. So this is my take on the players' demand for a reduced game time. Thank you very much.